This video is sponsored by Card Trader, a global marketplace where you can buy and sell TCG cards like the Pokemon trading card game. Please use my code POPNIGHT24 at checkout where you can get 5% off your first purchase. A link will be in the description below. Thank you again to Card Trader for sponsoring this video. Hey guys, in today's video, I'll be showcasing Cinccino from the Bellibolt expansion set. There's nothing too special about this Cinccino, but I thought it had a decent attack. For just one colorless energy, Do the Wave deals 20 plus damage and an additional 20 more damage for each Pokemon you have on your bench. So with a full 5 Pokemon on your bench, you can deal as much as 120 damage. It's nothing crazy at first, but of course, we can expand our bench. And that is with the help of Area 0 Underdepths. This will allow you to bench 8 Pokemon instead of 5. And I'll be using Cornerstone Ogerpon EX as the Terra Pokemon to activate this stadium. So with 8 Pokemon on your bench, Cinccino can actually deal as much as 180 damage, which is actually a decent damage output since you can pretty much 2-hit knock out most EX Pokemon in the game. And we also have Brave Bangle to add 30 more damage to our attack against an EX Pokemon. As for my A-Spec card, I'll be using Precious Trolley. This will allow you to search your deck for as many basic Pokemon as you want and put them straight to your bench. This is a great way to fill your bench immediately and deal massive damage with Cinccino. And since Cinccino doesn't have an ability, I'll also be using Frostlass to add potential damage. It has the Freezing Shroud ability, which deals 1 damage counter to all Pokemon with abilities every Pokemon checkup except for Frostlass. And we also have Munkidori with the Adrenabrain ability. As long as it has Dark Energy attached to it, you can transfer up to 3 damage counters from one of your Pokemon to one of your opponent's Pokemon. As for the other cards worth noting, I also have the new Alamomola with the Gentle Fin ability. Once during your turn, if this is in the active spot, you may put one basic Pokemon with 70 HP or less from your discard pile onto your bench. This is a great way to keep your lineup of Pokemon on your bench and to keep Cinccino's attack to a maximum. And since we have a Terra Pokemon, I'll also be using Noctowl with the Jewel Seeker ability. If you evolve one of your Pokemon into this Noctowl, you can use its ability to search your deck for up to 2 trainer cards and put them into your hand. On paper, this Cinccino should work, especially with its 180 damage output, but unfortunately it's also very squishy, having only 100 HP. But as long as you can avoid Iron Hands EX, which can get an extra price for knocking out your Pokemon, I think you should be fine. This Cinccino is not the best single price attacker out there, but it can definitely put up a good fight. Anyways, that's pretty much it. You can find the complete deck list in the description below, and now please enjoy the following gameplay videos showcasing Cinccino. Before we get into the video, I have a small request. If you're liking the content I create, please leave a like to this video, and please support this channel by subscribing if you haven't already. This is a small click for you, but for me, it means a lot. Thank you so much for all of your support. Alright, on to our first match. I'm going to start this one with Cinccino in the active spot, and we also have Cornerstone Ogerpon EX. And I will be going first in this matchup. My opponent's going to start with Iono's Voltorb. We also have a pretty decent opening hand, actually. We even have Precious Trolley. But for now, I'm just going to put Area 0 Underdepths into play. That will expand our bench. And we also have Nest Ball. And as much as possible, you want to put Fan Rotom into play, because you can only use its ability on your first turn. Fan Call allows you to search your deck for up to 3 colorless Pokemon with 100 HP or less. And I'm just going to go with these 3. I'll put Hoot into play. So next turn, we can evolve into Cinccino, start attacking, and we can even evolve into Noctowl to activate its ability, and we can get 2 trainer cards if we need it. All we have to do is also use Precious Trolley to fill our bench if we need to increase our attack. For now though, my opponent sets up their Iono's Wattrel along with Iono's Tadball. So we're going against Iono's Pokemon combo, basically. We're going to use Iono. That does mess up our hand, but we did get Cinccino and an energy. And if anything, we can even use Cleffa to draw into more cards. So we have a few options for next turn. And my opponent's gonna set up 2 more Iono's Voltorb. So this is their main attacker. This Voltorb basically deals damage multiplied by however many lightning energies are attached to their Pokemon. So it has potential to just one-hit knock out any of our Pokemon, including our Cornerstone Ogerpon EX. But they'll need to set up their Bellibolt EX first to accelerate energies. So they're just gonna pass. We got a Snorunt. Let's go ahead and evolve into Cinccino, attach this energy, and I'm just gonna put all these basic Pokemon into play, and I'm just gonna attack. So Do the Wave is dealing 140 damage, knocking out their Voltorb, And we get our first prize, and we get an Iono. Alright, so now we can draw into more cards next turn. But as it is, we don't have a backup attacker. You always want to have at least 2 Cinccino lineup. So if your opponent knocks out your attacker, you have a secondary one. For now though, my opponent replaces our stadium with Levincia. So now we have to discard our Pokemon here so that we only have 5. I'll just discard this Fan Rotom. Right now we should be fine because we still have Area Zero under depths to replace their stadium as well. And that will help to expand our bench once again. And we'll go from there. So this Iono's Pokemon build is pretty straightforward. It just basically focuses on dealing as much damage to our active Pokemon. But our deck is pretty much the same. We just focus on dealing as much damage as we can with Cinccino, even 2-hit knocking out any of their high HP Pokemon. Unfortunately, this Cinccino build is not as versatile. It just focuses on dealing as much damage as we can to the active. But it's just so easily disrupted when your opponent can remove Area Zero under depths to basically remove our bench Pokemon. For now though, my opponent charges up their Bellibolt EX, and they will get a knockout against our Cinccino. So they'll get their first prize. I'll just pivot into Cleffa for now. We got an energy, but no secondary attacker. We'll replace their stadium. I'm gonna go ahead and use Night Stretcher to recover our Minccino. And I'm just gonna use Grasping Draw. They're down to just 1 card in their hand, and I'm not about to just help them with Iono, because that could help them get more cards, the cards that they need. Okay, so they will not be able to attack this turn. They will just pass, but they did set up Raging Bolt EX. So this is also a Raging Bolt EX build. Let's go ahead and use Ultra Ball. I'm gonna get Frostlass so we can damage all of their ability user. But also, it will damage our Munkidori, and we can slowly transfer damage from our Pokemon to theirs. So, thankfully, we got a Cinccino to attack here, dealing 140 damage to their Bellibolt EX. So we're 1 attack away from knocking it out to get 2 prizes. So far, we're not doing too bad. As long as we can keep our Cinccino lineup going, we can keep attacking every turn, we should be fine. So they'll take another knockout with Iono's Bellibolt EX. Let's see if we can draw into another Cinccino and an energy. We can finish off this Iono's Bellibolt. We got an energy. Let's go ahead and use Super Rod. I'll recover these 3. And I'm gonna use Iono. Okay, we got a Cinccino and an Ultra Ball. So we're pretty good here. I'll use Ultra Ball, discard these 2. And I'm gonna use Noctowl. We're gonna use or activate our Jewel Seeker ability. And I'm gonna get Precious Trolley. And I need to guarantee my draw for next turn. But I think I'm gonna go with Ultra Ball. That way we can evolve into Cinccino as well. I'll attach Brave Bangle. Use Precious Trolley. And I'll just get Cornerstone Ogerpon EX. Because if they can build up their energy, knock out our Ogerpon, our bench will be disrupted again. So I might as well just guarantee it. I'll use Adrena Brain to transfer 2 damage to their Raging Bolt. And we're just going to finish off their Iono's Bellibolt EX to get us 2 more prizes. Not too bad. We got Night Stretcher as well. So we can get an energy even if they knock out our active. And we have Ultra Ball to get Cinccino. And we can just keep attacking. So we're looking pretty good, guys. As long as our opponent is a very straightforward attacker as well, Against us, since it is a 2-to-1 price trade, I think we still have the upper hand. So they're gonna use Raging Bolt EX to knock out our Cinccino. We're just gonna pivot into Cleffa. And we're gonna continue on with this attack, basically. We're gonna get 2 energies, Night Stretcher, our Cinccino. Will evolve. I'll transfer 3 damage here. I'll attach an energy. Retreats. And we're just gonna attack with Through the Wave, dealing 160 damage. So they're at a 210 damage already. So for next turn, all we have to do is just transfer 3 damage counters with Monkey Dory, and we can take out this Raging Bolt EX. All we have to do is just worry about our last prize, and that should buy us some time to set up another Cinccino lineup. So if they knock out our Cinccino, we just have to pivot into Cleffa, probably just to draw into more cards. However, they're gonna replace Area 0 once again. So I'll just discard those. But that should be fine, because we still need time to set up our Cinccino lineup anyways. That is if they can get a knockout here. They're gonna use Switch to switch into Iono's Watrel. And they're just gonna pass, okay. Well, at 60 HP, we can just knock it out with Cinccino. But for now, I'm just gonna use Adrena Brain to finish off their Raging Bolt EX. And guess what, guys? We will get our 3 prizes during our turn here. So Do the Wave will take out this Watrel, and that will win us the game. Alright, good game. Moving on to our second match. I'm gonna start this one with Van Rotom in the active. We have Hoot Hoot and also Monkey Dory. My opponent will mulligan once, and it looks like we're going against some type of Team Rocket's combo. We'll get 1 extra card from their mulligan, and they're gonna start with Team Rocket's Mimikyu. Let's go ahead and start with Fan Rotom. Again, we always want to start with this. And with Fan Call, I'm just gonna grab Noctowl and 2 Minchinos. Guarantee our 2 attackers. I'll attach Dark Energy on Monkey Dory so we can transfer damage counters if we need to. And we'll worry about the next turn. We need to draw into more cards though. I need to get Ogerpon so that I can use Noctowl's ability. And we also need Area 0 Under Depths. Okay, so my opponent will set up another Articuno, Team Rocket's Articuno. So it has an ability that prevents effects of attacks, but we're not too worried about that. We're just a very straightforward attacker anyways with Cinccino. Okay, they're just gonna pass. We got an Ultra Ball. Let's go ahead and use Arven. I'll just get Nest Ball and Air Balloon for now. So I'm gonna get Cornerstone Ogerpon EX. And we can even activate Noctowl to get Area 0. But for now, I'm just gonna use Ultra Ball. Get a Cinccino. Evolve this. And we can even attack this turn, knock out this Articuno. We are dealing 120 with just the 5 Pokemon on our bench. So we'll take a knockout here, get our first prize. And we get another Noctowl. Alright, not too bad. Not too bad. Again, this Cinccino build is a pretty straightforward attacking combination, basically. Of course, we also have Monkey Dory and Frostlass, if I haven't mentioned that already. That does add a little bit of something to this build, I guess. We can take multiple knockouts with it. But other than that, Cinccino's not too bad. But I just don't like the fact that it only has 100 HP, and it's just very dependent on expanding your bench. And at only 180 damage, I guess it's reasonable for a single price attacker, but still not gonna be competitive anytime soon. So my opponent sets up their Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX along with 2 Taruntulas, and they also have Wobbuffet. But they're just gonna pass again. Okay, well, we can just keep taking knockouts, I guess. I could use Noctowl. I could try and expand my bench. Get ready for next turn. Let me get Precious Trolley and Area 0. And then I could set up another Hoot actually. And our Snorunts, because majority of their Pokemon have abilities, so we could actually take advantage of that. And I'm just gonna do the wave to take out their Mimikyu, and we'll get another prize. We got another Cinccino, so we'll be ready for next turn. We can even use Night Stretcher to get Dark Energy, so we can power up our attack. So if my opponent removes my Stadium, if they attack with their Spidops, we are only dealing 120, so we're 10 damage away from knocking it out. But if we can set up our Frostlass, it should be easier, because it will be dealing damage counters to their Pokemon with abilities. So for now, their Mewtwo EX will take a knockout against our Cinccino. Let's put that into play. Evolve this. And then I'm going to use Night Stretcher to get an energy. Or actually, let me get Frostlass. And then I'm going to use Noctowl. Activate Jewel Seeker. And we're going to get Night Stretcher. And so we have energy. Actually in the deck, I'll just use Earthen Vessel and then Iono. That way we can draw into more cards. I'll just discard this, get 2 of, or I'll just get 1 because we're gonna use Iono anyways. We'll attach this, we can attack this turn, and we're gonna use Iono. Draw 4. And I'll retreat, and then we can attack. So Do the Wave is dealing 180 damage. And now our Frostlass is in play, dealing damage to all of their Pokemon as well as ours, but we have Monkey Dory, so we can just keep transferring the damage counters to their Pokemon. But I guess Team Rocket's Wobbuffet can also transfer damage if they want to. They can attach the Team Rocket's energy on it. The 190 damage on this Mewtwo EX they can just put it to our active Pokemon, knock it out. But as of right now, we're doing pretty good, actually. And slowly but surely, all of their Team Rocket Spidops will be taking damage from our Frostlass. If we can evolve into another one, it will be even better. And that could help us out, actually. Even without an expanded bench, we can deal 120, and it's still going to be easy for us to knock out their Pokemon. As long as we take out this Mewtwo EX, we should be fine. Okay, they're going to attack with Erasure Ball once again, dealing 160 damage to knock out our Cinccino. So let's go ahead and pivot into our backup attacker. And now it's our turn. We'll evolve this. And we need to guarantee an energy. I could use Iono. Let's go ahead and use Iono. Okay, we got an energy. And a Minccino. Alright. Even better. I'll just attach Brave Bangle on our backup attacker. I'll use Monkey Dory's Adrena Brain. Transfer these damage counters to this guy. And we're gonna do the wave. Deal another 180 to take a knockout against their Mewtwo EX. And that's gonna get us 2 more prizes. Not too bad. Like I said, it really depends on your matchup, but this Cinccino is not half bad. If you can just continue to hit for 180 damage every single turn, or along those lines, even 160, you're still hitting 320 total. Enough to knock out some of Stage 2 EX Pokemon in the game. So now my opponent pivots into their Team Rocket's Spidops. Okay, they're gonna use Team Rocket's Betrayal. They'll replace our Stadium once again, and like I said, it should be fine. I'm gonna go ahead and discard these three. We'll keep our Frostlass, Munkidori. Fan Rotom is there for pivot. That's why I kept it with the air balloon, because everyone else doesn't have any way to retreat. So Fan Rotom will keep, and it can also attack for 70 damage, which is pretty reasonable. But for next turn, we have an Ultra Ball. We can get another Cinccino. We just have to keep recovering these Cinccinos, basically. So they'll take a knockout. They'll get another prize. And like I said, slowly but surely, their Pokemon are taking damage. And we even drew into a Cinccino, guys. That's insane. I'll just keep pressuring this guy. Put more damage to this one Spidops. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'll just attack with Fan Rotom, actually. Because we don't have a backup attacker. Might as well just deal damage with Fan Rotom. We can take it out with Munkidori next turn. And then Cinccino, we can start attacking with that in the preceding turns. But we need to draw into another card here that will help us draw into more cards. Otherwise, we will not be able to attack with Cinccino. We need another energy. Okay, my opponent's going to use Team Rocket's Ariana to draw into more cards. And they will search for Team Rocket's Giovanni. So they could even target my... Well, they can't really damage my Ogerpon because we are immune to damage from any Pokemon with abilities, so we should be fine. I'm gonna use Charging Up. Can they attack with this Mewtwo EX? Okay, they have Energy Switch. You know what? I'm fine with this. They're gonna get one prize, but... yeah, I think we got it. We should be able to win this one. Even without taking a knockout with Cinccino this turn. Again, Frostlass and Munkidori is a big part of this build, basically. We did get a Night Stretcher. We can still attack with Cinccino, but it's not really gonna do much. I'm just gonna Drain her Brain. And then we're just gonna finish off this Spidops, get one prize. And we got an Iono. And I'll just attack. At the end of this turn anyways, Frostlass will just take out their other Spidops. And we're gonna get our last prize. And we're gonna win the game. And there you have it, guys. Cinccino with Frostlass and Munkidori. Good game. Alright, moving on to our third and final match. This time I'm gonna start with Cleffa in the active. And we also have Munkidori. And they're gonna start with Squawkabilly EX. Alright. We have Buddy Buddy Poffin. Let's go ahead and get our Fan Rotom and a Snorunt. We can evolve into Frostlass next turn. I'll attach Dark Energy on Munkidori, set it up. Of course, Adrena Brain. We're gonna use Fan Call. I'll get these three. We can set up Hoot Hoot and Minccino. And I'm just gonna pass. I know I filled up my bench, but you do always want to leave one space for your Ogerpon EX. Because if you don't, you will not be able to use Noctowl's ability. Because its ability, Jewel Seeker, requires that you have a Terra Pokemon in play. But it's okay, because right now I'll actually be using Cleffa to draw into more cards. But regardless, we have Professor's Research to help us for next turn. And Cleffa basically just baits our opponent. They'll knock it out. That's gonna open a space for us to put our Ogerpon. But if they don't knock it out, we can also draw with it. Alright, looks like they're focusing on poison here. They have Perilous Jungle. They also have Brood Bonnet. And they have the Ancient Booster Energy Capsule attached to it. So now they can use its ability to poison both active Pokemon. And with this Binding Mochi tool card attached to Squawkabilly, it can deal 40 more damage if it is poisoned. They have Team Rocket's Venture Bomb. They got heads, so they can put 2 damage counters to one of our Pokemon. And they're just gonna put it on Cleffa. Okay. Not sure why, but they can attack, they can poison both active, and they can still knock out my Cleffa. Okay, they have Volcanion EX. And they will switch. Use Scalding Steam ability to burn our Cleffa. They're going to use Quack and Seize ability to draw into 6 cards. And they're just going to pass. So they'll knock out our Cleffa with the burn condition. We'll just pivot it into Cinccino. Okay, so we have an energy. We can evolve into Frostlass. So they have 3 Pokemon with abilities so far, so that's going to affect them. I'm going to use Counter Catcher on this Squawkabilly EX. I'll attach an energy on Cinccino. We're going to use Professor's Research. Okay, we got an Ultra Ball. Let's replace their stadium with ours. I need an Ogre Pawn to expand my bench, but I also need Cinccino. Let me just discard these 2. And I'll get Cinccino. Put another Monkey Dory into play. And I'll recover these 3. And I'm just gonna do the wave. So we're dealing 120 damage. It's not much, but with Frostlass in play, we should be fine. Because every single turn, their Squawkabilly EX will receive damage, and by the end of their turn, we can just transfer damage counters and take out this Squawkabilly EX. And they're gonna boss my Monkey Dory. I'm actually okay with that, because that preserves our Cinccino alive, and we can just attach another energy to our other Monkey Dory, and we can still take a knockout next turn. So they can attack with Motivate with their Squawkabilly EX Poison. They're dealing 60 damage. And our Monkey Dory survives the poison, but it is also affected by Frostlass ability. So it was taken out, but their Squawkabilly EX is also taken out. So they get 1 prize, we get 2. And it's going into our turn. So this is going into our favor, actually. Let's go ahead and get Cornerstone Ogrepon EX. I'll use Earthen Vessel to get 1 energy, so we can put it on Monkey Dory, and we're gonna use Professor's Research. So we got Area 0 Honor Depths. Look at this. We can use Buddy Buddy Poffin to increase our attack even further, but for now, I'll just set up another Cinccino and our Snorunt. I'll transfer these damage counters to this Pecharunt, and we're gonna do the wave. We're dealing 190 damage, and thanks to Frostlass, that will finish off their Volcanion EX, getting us 2 more prizes. Dude, we're not doing too bad, guys. This is pretty awesome. Again, Cinccino by itself, it has a decent attack damage output, but with Frostlass and Monkey Dory, it does make a big difference, allowing me to actually take a knockout against basic EX Pokemon. So they're gonna attack with their Blood Moon Ursaluna EX. We have our backup Cinccino. We can evolve this turn. We have Hoot Hoot. We can evolve into Noctowl, get 2 more trainer cards. And if we have our... We have another Brave Bangle. I think we should be able to take out this Ursaluna, actually. Let's go ahead and use Jewel Seeker ability. I'll just grab Night Stretcher and Actually, let me get Professor's Research. That way we can guarantee our draw for next turn. As needed. I'll attach an energy to Cinccino. We'll use Night Stretcher to get a backup attacker just in case. And I'm gonna use Adrena Brain. And I'll use Professor's Research. We can use it. Hey, we got Brave Bengal. Look at this, guys. We're gonna do the wave. We're dealing 210 damage. And again, Frost Blast will take into effect, knocking out their Blood Moon Ursaluna to get our last 2 prizes. And that's it for the video. Thank you all so much for watching the Popsicleknight channel, and until next time, please stay safe and have a great day.